Hey up and welcome back, and today me and Eddie in the garage, and today we're fitting the stainless steel mudguards front and rear to the Royal Enfield Interceptor 650, the mudguards courtesy of Hitchcock's motorcycles. So first job, remove that show plate only of course. Next job, remove the seat. I'm sure you know how to do that. So then remove the 8mm retaining bolts that attach the mudguard at the rear to the housing just underneath the tail light there, and inside that housing are all the connectors, so your mudguard should just drop away just like that, revealing the gasket underneath. Next job is to disconnect those connectors. There are 3 of them, a small white one, a small black one and a large white one. The small black and small white one need a little screwdriver like that inserted to get them to free up. Next, use a Torx 25 to remove the 2 retaining bolts atop the mudguard, as you can see there, complete with their 2 quite thick washers, but as we'll see later, not sufficiently large in diameter washers. But anyway, pop those out, and as you will see, your rear mudguard will drop away. Next job, disconnect the main wiring loom connection for the rearward electrics there. That's a simple squeeze and pull, and that should allow you then to remove the mudguard, and the wiring loom should come with it. There you see the gasket through which the connectors feed, and with a little bit of jiggery pokery, out comes said rear mudguard. And there you can see the 3 connectors, and there you can see where the wire is clipped into those retainers on the inside of the mudguard. So you just need now to feed the 3 connectors back through that gasket. Bit of pushing and pulling, a bit of interference from Eddie there, as you can see. And eventually you'll get that gasket free, and that will allow you to take the wiring loom out. Just take it out from the clips underneath the mudguard there, and you'll see there you have it freed up. You might just need to use a pair of snips to cut away the cable ties there. Be careful not to cut into the loom. And this will enable you to remove the wiring loom from underneath the mudguard, and if you thread it back in the direction shown there through its opening in the mudguard, because if you do it the other way, that main connector won't fit. So here we are with the new stainless steel mudguard at the rear, just inserting some little plugs that will take a couple of cable ties. Now you'll see in a minute that I actually fit a 3rd one. There are 3 cable ties and 3 cable tie retainers in the kit, and I did actually fit the 3rd one there. You can see me contemplating that 3rd little hole there just above the 3 bigger ones. Now actually this 3rd cable tie anchorage point is not required, because as I found out, it interferes with the gasket underneath the tail light, so I ended up removing it. So here we are fitting the rubber bobbins on the top of the rear mudguard, and they are secured with the supplied nylock nuts and washers. And those locking nuts are 10mm, so you'll need a 10mm spanner or socket to tighten them up, and just a hand grip on the actual bobbin to secure it in place while you tighten those up will do absolutely fine. Okay, now time to thread the wiring loom back through the hole in that part of the mudguard there. And a bit of a tight fit with those 3 connectors, but they do go through. And then it's just a matter of threading those 3 connectors then back through the rearmost hole, so that you can reconnect them underneath the tail light assembly at the back of the bike. Don't do up the cable ties just yet. You'll need a little bit of wriggle room. Next thing, you can see the bobbins in place there. You can see that they are threaded and there are 2 replacement bolts supplied to be able to secure the mudguard in place at that mounting point there. I will say at this point that the instructions tell you to use the original washers, which you can see there. However, I found that they were not quite big enough in diameter, had a tendency to slip back through the hole in the frame there while you were tightening them up. So I ended up exchanging those for something a little bit larger in diameter. But yeah, those are the bolts that actually come with the kit. So here we are with the connectors threaded through the back of the new number plate, and it's now a matter of re-threading those through that rubber gasket there, and then a simple matter of reconnecting them to the wiring loom. And there you see the other end of the wiring loom under the seat. Make sure you reconnect that. And so the next job is to reaffix the rearmost part of the mudguard using the original bolts, but with the addition of those domed washers supplied with the kit. So simply a matter of attaching those and reinserting the original bolts, and a simple matter of pushing through those bolts again and getting them to engage with the tail light assembly that you can see there just above the gasket. And there she goes. So offer up the mudguard to that assembly underneath the tail light and relocate those fixing bolts. And there again on the right hand side, again the original fixing bolt. Probably a good idea actually to just slip that supplied bushing over the bolt before you put it in. Now then, underneath the mudguard, and here you can see, if the camera would only focus, you would be able to see that it's at this point that I chose to re-secure the wiring loom with the zip ties, and that's simply because until you've got the whole lot loosely bolted in place, you don't know exactly where that wire is going to be. So trim off the zip ties there, back to the top, and those new washers I told you about. As I say, the original ones there, just not quite sufficient in diameter for the purpose, because I found on tightening them up they had a nasty habit of slipping through the holes in the subframe there. So some slightly wider washers, if you have them, will do the trick. And again, tighten up nice and tight and secure. Likewise, those rear bolts, give them a final tighten up. And on to the front. So front mudguard, very, very straightforward. I'm replacing both the mudguard and the securing bracket there. There are 4 Allen bolts, 5mm Allen bolts. Just undo them and pull out the whole assembly there, and you'll see on the underside there's a frame that retains the mudguard to the bracket atop there by 2 5mm Allen bolts, and the 2 5mm Allen bolts below that attach the mudguard directly to that bracket, not via that bit of metal that you can see there. So there we go, there's the new Enfield Precision retaining bracket for the front mudguard. A very smart bit of kit. It's worth noting, and this is pointed out on the website, that if you fit that Enfield Precision bracket on the stainless steel mudguards, a little bit of those holes will be exposed, as you'll see. If you can live with that, as indeed I can, no problem, fair enough. If you're a little bit OCD about that, you might want to find an interim solution. The holes there outside of that underplate require the fitting of the two little domed grommets that you can see there that are supplied in the kit, and you can only tighten them up so far before they start to deform. So just tighten them up to the point at which those little rubber grommets are just about to deform, and you'll be about right. Again, 5mm Allen key required there. And then it's simply a matter of placing the mudguard betwixt the forks and using the original 5mm Allen bolts to secure it back in place. And again, basically finger tight plus a quarter of a turn will be more than sufficient for that. Okay, so there's the end result, and as you can see there, a little bit of the holes in the mudguard remain exposed there. I've no idea why that is, but to me it's not a showstopper by any means. Now, as you'll see when we get to the rear mudguard, some more fettling is required to get a perfect seal with that gasket look. So a little bit more work required there, a bit of sloppiness on my part, that might require some reshaping of the mudguard. Okay, so those mudguards to my eye look absolutely premium, and they feel absolutely premium and really set off the bike, particularly my chrome model, I would suggest. So okay, hope that was of some interest to you. If it was, please click a like, please click a subscribe, and until the next time, keep it shiny side up, and I'll see you soon. Toodle pip.